When I started On Purpose softball training, my goal was to help young athletes elevate their game. But more than that, I wanted to focus on helping them elevate their game by how they were performing, training, living on and off the field. Because a lot of times when we think of training for our sport, we just think of, okay, what do I need to do on the field? What do I need to do there to make myself better? We don't think, what do I need to do off the field to make myself better? And it's not even to make myself a better athlete, which, yes, we want to be better athletes, but we also want to be better people. We want to be better teammates. We want to be coachable, all of these things. And so I wanted to speak a little bit to how we strive to train the whole athlete on purpose softball training, because a lot of it did start out, I wanted to do lessons with a lot of these students. I love training them, the physical training aspect of one-on-one training, doing hitting lessons, all of that. So that's something that, yes, we do provide. We provide hitting lessons in person, virtually, all of these things, because we want you to improve physically. We want to give you high level, high quality instruction so that you can improve your physical skills. But we also want to give you things outside of that. And so we've also created a recruiting workbook and an athlete planner, and we're working on building out more products to help athletes and to help teams as a whole, because we know it goes beyond just training the physical aspect. We want the recruiting workbook to be there because we want girls to find colleges that fit them best, to have a great recruiting experience, a stress-free one, and even better, we want them to have a great college experience. We want them to love where they're going. And we want to create informed athletes, and that's what the recruiting workbook does. And the athlete planner helps athletes to organize their life in a way that helps them prioritize and set goals so that they can train themselves to be the best athlete, to be the best person they can be in their sport and outside of their sport. Because again, the things that we do outside of our sport are going to affect us in our sport. We don't live our life in silos, okay? Everything affects everything else. So if we can help athletes to be organized and to know their priorities and to set goals and to have things to strive after, that's really what we want. And then the last thing that we do to help train the whole athlete is that we have a sports and faith podcast. And this podcast is really centered around, we want to help athletes play and live more like Christ. And how we do that, we bring on guest speakers who are very knowledgeable on all different kinds of topics. We've had people talk about mental game and sports technology and recruiting. We hit so many different sports topics, and we want that to help athletes. We want to equip them with practical tips, things that they can actually take with them. That's what we want for athletes, okay? We love story, and we tell people's stories on the podcast because people have amazing stories, but we also give athletes practical tips they can take away to better themselves as an athlete, to better themselves as a person. And that's really our whole purpose there. And then again, we have all these free resources. So in saying this, I want On Purpose softball training to be a resource to so many athletes to help them in whatever way they can. We've got, the podcast is obviously a free resource. We've got other worksheets on our website, On Purpose Softball, that are free, but we want to be a resource in whatever way we can to athletes. And that's why we want to train the whole athlete, and why we want athletes to know it is so important for you to train holistically. We want you to train physically. We want you to train mentally. We want you to train spiritually. We want you to train in all of these ways. We want you to eat right. So there's so many aspects, and that's what we're trying to dig into and continue to build out, is how can we train the whole athlete? And I think that's something for athletes to think about. How can I train myself in a more holistic way to become a better athlete, a better person, a better teammate on and off the field?